Today's guest is Derin Oyekan, the co-founder at Reel. Reel are a bamboo toilet paper brand reimagining a product that was traditionally distributed in retail with a DTC model and championing a social mission to provide clean toilets for those in need around the world. How are you doing, Derin?
Doing well, man. Nice to be on. Thanks for the invite. I'm glad we could finally make it happen. It's been a few misses here and there, but glad to be talking to you.
Nice one. No, glad to have you on. So, for context for our listeners, Derin is over in California at the moment, so there's a bit of a time difference. But also for everyone listening, for context around Reel, how would you sum Reel up in your own words?
Reel is a sustainability-focused, mission-driven brand, for lack of a better term. We are aiming to bring eco-friendly products to the market that have we essentially position ourselves as being a brand with a heart. We want to introduce products that are good for the environment, but beyond that, also give back to those in need around the world. So
cool.
That would be Reel in a nutshell.
So it goes far beyond toilet paper then?
It does. Toilet paper is our hero product. That's kind of what we started with, but we have aspirations to bring a lot of other products to the marketplace.
Cool. Okay. Sounds great. So what's your background then? What kind of drove you to reinvent what is, I guess, a fairly old, stagnant industry?
My background, I'm 18 plus years vet of digital marketing, specifically in the consumer marketing space. Worked at agencies, worked at marketing companies. I've started a couple of direct-to-consumer brands myself. I've been a consultant. So in the last 5+ years, my focus really has been on working on brands that actually have a positive impact on people's lives. So being an experienced growth marketer, we kind of looked at multiple consumer marketing, consumer product spaces, and we looked we settled on toilet paper to kind of start our journey. Yeah. It's one of the largest consumer categories, and it's definitely ripe for disruption. Very, very unsustainable in terms of how most of the products that are in the marketplace right now. So we saw an opportunity to, be able to introduce, not necessarily introduce, because there are certainly other bamboo paper brands that precede us, but just, really kind of take our marketing know-how and bring to market, especially in the US, alternatives to tree-based toilet paper, while also having a philanthropic, having a more charitable component to it. So that's how we approached it. Launched March of last year. So we're about a little over a year old, and we've seen amazing growth. And we, especially in this time of COVID-19 and people being at home and retail stores being out of toilet paper, we've still been able to continue to supply our subscribers with toilet paper. So I think it's a very much appreciated service right now.
Yeah, I was going to say, so whilst you touch on that, it's, I guess, traditionally, like we mentioned before, a product that is distributed almost entirely offline and in retail. So although the chaos, this, I guess, provides an incredible opportunity for you. I know I saw you guys were sold out, so I can imagine how have you been dealing with this demand? How has this been working operationally?
It's definitely been a challenge, but that's the beauty. That's the beauty of startups is it's very you rise to the challenge. Startups are nothing but ongoing challenges, so we're flexible enough to be able to try to make changes to accommodate that. We have increased our inventory production or our paper production with our manufacturing partners. What we did very early on when we kind of started to see the spike, which has been appreciated by most of our customers, is we made sure we prioritized our subscribers over customers. So we we want to minimize disruption to them receiving the toilet paper as much as we can. So with any kind of inventory delivery we receive, we always make sure we reserve enough um, inventory to be able to fulfill the following month or as far out as we can um, renewal orders, basically. So we stepped up production. We have, we've more than 5x our
Really?
usual
Wow.
our usual production. So we're confident that once we get back restocked, that we should be able to meet demand with very little interruption. Hopefully, but who knows, right? We these are unprecedented times, so
Yeah.
we before we sold out, we saw we're selling what would typically take us a month to sell, we're selling in days, right? So the demand was pretty crazy, and we don't know what it's going to be once we go back live, but we do have in excess of almost 15,000 people on a wait list right now to receive toilet
Jesus.
paper from us. So the demand is still out there. I think a lot of the retail stores are still struggling to meet that demand. And I mean, I think the fact that people are also at home, people really appreciate the option to get this delivered to them at home. So yeah, I think we're well positioned to be able to help people out during these trying times.
Wow. Okay. So, uh, firstly, 15,000 people on a wait list for a DTC toilet paper code. Like, that's an incredible stat. It's an incredible
Thank you.
fact.
Yeah.
And so through this, how are you keeping, or what are your strategies, techniques for keeping those customers engaged? I guess it's a weird kind of section where they're trying to get a product wherever they can in some ways.
Yeah, definitely.
So how are you like keeping that fire warm whilst you're out of stock?
I mean, we send out frequent. We send out a once a week, just kind of engagement email to entire email base. It's not a sales email. It's usually something around sustainability or some other brand that's doing amazing things. So we keep them engaged that way, and we also try to send updates just to make sure they know where we are within like being able, within our receipt where we are in terms of getting restocked. Basically, we just sent out an email yesterday where we gave them the latest update, and we're also using it as an opportunity to get them to invite their friends who might be looking for toilet paper as well to join our wait list. So there's going to be another update that goes out next week, and hopefully somewhere around then we should be restocked and just that giving people an opportunity to buy from us again.
Well, okay, through this, do you think I don't know exactly your target demographic that's in that wait list, but do you think because of necessity of now purchasing online with almost all products that were traditionally retail driven, especially something like toilet paper, do you think it's accelerating the adoption of e-com kind of across different demographics that previously maybe wouldn't have done, and different product offerings that
Absolutely.
previously wouldn't have been there?
Absolutely. I think more than anything else, what we've definitely seen happen through this time is just people being like, it's the education and just people becoming aware of real, right? Like
Yeah.
as an option to purchasing from the retail store, which we would have had to spend, millions of marketing dollars to get that kind of awareness. But people know about us now because their friends who are subscribers are constantly, posting about, oh, this is a lifesaver. I got my
Yeah.
box. So people, I don't know if it's FOMO. I mean, obviously, I think there's going to be a fundamental shift in consumer behavior
Yeah.
after this period, especially in terms of, receiving things that are necessities like toilet paper. It's like, well, I'd rather be on a subscription and not have to worry about it, especially since stores can run out with brands like ours and other brands like us prioritizing subscribers over everyone else.
Yeah.
Like that to me kind of changes the game, right? It's like, well, I know this, if I sign up for a subscription here, like I don't necessarily have to worry about it. They're going to fight to make sure they're getting my product to me, especially if it's something I need. So I think it kind of, it's fundamentally going to change how people view subscription products moving forward.
Yeah.
Because now they're like, well, if anything were to happen, I know I'm good for a little while at least, right? So I think that's one big thing that's come out of it, at least from my perspective. I'm sure, we still, it's uncharted territory. We all still learning and trying to figure out what's going to happen next. But yeah, that's what we've seen so far.
Okay, so COVID has been, you mentioned there about the awareness, so it's been like this catalyst for you in some ways. Do you think, like, how have your customers, from a kind of purely strategy point of view, how have your customers been finding you? Have you seen kind of dramatic changes within acquisition costs? Are they coming more just search and SEO and organic because of that necessity again, or how has that been rolling for you?
I mean, it's definitely, we haven't spent $1 on marketing since early March.
Really?
But it's mostly been organic. So we've gotten a ton of organic traffic. We did get mentioned in a couple of big publications, BuzzFeed and Fox News, that also drove a ton of traffic to the site. Okay. So, we think we'll be able to kind of continue to grow without spending a ton of marketing, at least for the next 3 months. That's kind of the plan. So, we'll kind of see what happens. I feel confident that once we have inventory again, that our customers, we have a very, very high NPS score. Yeah. Like our customers really love our product. Our NPS is I don't know if you know much about NPSs, but we are in the high 70s, which obviously is amazing.
Sure. Yeah. Wow. Very, very high score.
As far as NPS goes. So our customers, definitely have a very strong affinity for our brand. They're really strong advocates. They love promoting us. So we in this time of shortages, we feel once we have product available to sell again, we can leverage that advocacy to really kind of drive growth without having to spend a ton of marketing. So.
Yeah, I was going to say, and I think you touched upon it, like, what do you think that change is going to look like when the kind of retailers en masse start opening up, and those old behaviors, I guess, start kicking in or being available, I guess, once again? Are you very much so kind of focusing on the brand and the product to carry you through? And even though when those customers who would have previously gone to retail have now come to you, and keeping them to continue their lifestyle with you, I guess?
No, I mean, I think long term, we do, right before this, our growth strategy for this year and beyond was we're exploring more of an omni-channel approach.
Sure.
So,
okay.
DTC being, kind of where we started, but we know, like, because people buy toilet paper along with other products, that it makes sense for us to be in places like, on Amazon and those type of marketplaces, and eventually big box retail as well, the Targets of the world. So that was a strategy we were pursuing before COVID happened. Obviously, we're fortunate to have our DTC business running, but we are still looking at getting into Amazon and get it on all of those different marketplaces, and also, selling into places where people naturally use toilet paper outside of the home. Sure. So making sure we have a sales channel that can sell into hotels and event centers and big office complexes and things of that nature. That usually involves going through, a broker or some, because most of those companies are typically purchasing toilet paper through some janitorial service that they have an arrangement with. Sure. So we look at making sure we're well positioned to be able to sell into those places as well. And then next year get into the specialty grocers, the Whole Foods of the world, the Sprouts, like some of the more special regional grocers, and then by Q2 of next year, or maybe a little bit later than that, launching into big box retailers like Target and and maybe, what else? Target.
Walmart?
I don't know if I don't know if the Walmart customer is the real
I
customer,
was going to
because
say, does it sit with that? Yeah.
yeah, I don't know if that's a real customer, but maybe we can introduce a product for that customer as well.
Okay, cool. So, like you said, so there's a clear focus on omnichannel. Are you really then looking at how you've built so far is like that first step to really understand that consumer, understand
Absolutely.
how that product fits into their life? And do you see that like that online presence via, say, social media, through a website, that initial purchase, that subscription? Do you see that as like the first step of then that customer seeing you in the Whole Foods and then seeing you
Absolutely.
in the big box retailers?
Absolutely. We see D2C as being able to kind of build a relationship with the customer, get a ton of feedback to help us
Yeah.
improve the product, not just, the product experience, improve the design, improve, even like getting, like leverage them to, kind of figure out what the next products we should launch are. We just ran a survey recently, and overwhelmingly most of our customers would love to see us introduce a paper towel product. So we're actually
Really?
pursuing that, and we hope to have that in market by Q3 of this year as well. So yeah, so that's the beauty of D2C, right? It's that one-to-one relationship. So you can, beyond just, it's not the highest margin business,
Yeah.
but there's a lot of intangibles, right? Like being able to really get feedback from your customers, even the ones who've canceled or not happy with the product, to understand why they weren't happy and try to address this concern. So I think by the time we get to retail, we'll have a very, very elevated product that should, that should be able to compete with any of the other toilet paper brands out there.
Sure. Okay. All right. Cool. So there was a couple of points I wanted to touch on just there. One, I think you mentioned just this feedback, that one-for-one relationship. Toilet paper kind of just across the board has had this in it, like non-existent feedback loop, I guess, forever.
Yeah.
You might have like, I don't know, focus groups as the best option in years gone by. Like, so, and you mentioned there that you've used that one-to-one connection, that extremely tight feedback loop to qualify other products, like you said, with the paper towels. And like, what else have you used that for to kind of accelerate you versus the others in the crowd that just don't have access to that kind of feedback?
Well, I mean, for us, it's also, I mean, when we started, we're subscription only, right? Because
Yeah,
obviously from a D2C perspective, it's a more predictable business to be subscription focused.
of course.
But using that customer feedback loop, we quickly learned that 40% of the people were canceling because they couldn't find a subscription window within the options we provided that worked for them. So we
Sure.
made the decision to allow them to be able to, purchase a la carte or on demand as they needed, and that was extremely well received, and that definitely helped reduce that churn reason. And what we've also come to find out is that that cohort of customers will actually will purchase one at a time and not on a subscription, actually exhibit similar behaviors to our subscribers. So even though they're not subscribers, they still come back and repeat buy, similar to some of our subscribers. So we weren't really losing anything by offering that option. It was just more flexible for that customer.
Yeah.
And I mean, I also learned, because I mean, toilet paper usage is something no one ever really thinks about, right? Like if I was to ask you, you probably know now because you're spending a lot more time at home.
Yeah.
But pre-corona, like how many rolls of toilet paper do you use a month? You're like, I
Who
don't know.
knows, man?
I don't know. I buy toilet paper when I run out. So it was, it's kind of challenging to figure out that right frequency, because people, use toilet paper outside of the home as well.
Yeah.
So having that option definitely helped in terms of flexibility for people to be able to kind of buy as needed. So,
Yeah, I was going to touch on that. I mean, coming from Blueprint, coming from this idea of on-demand, flexible commerce, and and I think you touched upon the points, like that variable usage nature of the product doesn't necessarily fit that kind of linearity of subscription replenishment.
Yep.
So did you think there was a couple of different angles in there as to why that customer might have churned? Like, was it both the flexibility and also the commitment levels? Like, I know that they would have, when you normally with commitment and subscription, I guess there's a challenge with, oh, I've never tried this product before, like I'm not going to like it. However, I guess that element is diminished with something like Real because they've tried like an element of it before, maybe not the exact product, but
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I mean, you're definitely right. I think, we don't have to explain what toilet paper is to anyone. Everyone
sure,
knows how to use it, how it works, but they tend to compare it to what they were previously using. Is it as soft as? Is it as durable as? So those are things people consider when by how long does a roll actually last? Like, am I getting value for my buck?
sure.
Um, so what we kind of learned. I mean, will those people have churned? Yeah, probably. But I think those people were frustrated more than anything else because they chose the longest delivery window and
Yeah,
they were still getting product a lot quicker than they were able to use. So it was a point of frustration for them. Like, I love the product, but I have way too much, and I don't want to have to keep going in and deferring my delivery date. So it's become more of a nuisance than a convenience. So having that single purchase option definitely kind of alleviated that for them. I mean, in retrospect, I'm sure most of them would and I'm sure we'll once we study, our customer behavior, like during this time as well, we'll probably see that there's a lot more single purchase customers who become subscribers because of that kind of set and forget nature of it, or the less worrisome nature of, like, okay, I have toilet paper taken care of, it's gonna come. It's one
yeah.
less than I have to worry about.
Okay, cool. So it sounds like that kind of on-demand focus became almost like a retention strategy to retain that customer for longer than they would have previously been with Real. I think is that fair to say?
I think it's part of it, but overall, I think it's just a very, very almost obsessive focus on customer experience and
Right.
just
Okay.
being extremely customer centric. Like, we want it to work for everyone, and sometimes that it includes having options that you might not initially think that might not fit into your initial model, but just
Yeah.
you experiment and you test things out, and so far, like, having that single purchase option has actually been great for the business, as opposed to being as opposed to distracting people from becoming subscribers.
Cool. Okay. No, completely. So just on that retention point as a whole, I know Real has a very deep social mission, and very much so rides across or flows through everything that you do. Do you think that is, again, a really key pillar for this consumer when they're choosing Real over another kind of legacy-based product or brand, because they see that angle of social change and social mission?
I think it is. I think the top three reasons in order importance or priority, based on our recent survey of our customers, why they choose Real. Number one is sustainability. They like the fact that it's tree free. So the
Yeah.
fact that it's made from bamboo, the packaging is completely plastic free. Even the tape is paper. Our customers really, and the box is compostable. They really love that.
Sure.
I think our customers have a strong disdain for plastic packaging, as
Of
do
course.
most people now. So that's the top reason. The second reason, I mean, I wish I could say it was the social mission, but in reality, it's the convenience aspect of it, like getting it delivered at home.
Yeah, which
And the
makes sense. Yeah.
third reason would be the social mission.
Cool.
Um,
Okay. So they all very much so tied together, don't they? Like you
yeah,
said
yeah,
before, just a relentless focus being customer centric and having that experience. I think, yeah, I guess regardless of what's top or slightly lower, I think it sounds like they all kind of work together in harmony.
absolutely. I think at the end of the day, the real customer is a conscious customer. They're very mindful about the brands they purchase, and they're not a discount customer. They really like the brands they purchase have to align with their personal values, and I think
Yeah.
we check a lot of boxes off for our customers.
Cool. Okay. And so we mentioned it slightly earlier with things like the paper towels and various other product ranges. Do you see you using this model, this framework that you've built, and this customer that you've built, and proliferating across different areas of their life? I know you mentioned that Real isn't a toilet paper brand as such. It's toilet paper is almost a vehicle, and
Yeah,
there's
well,
actually
it's the hero product. It's what
yeah,
we're starting with. Yeah, and
and
yeah,
and
sorry.
no, I just yeah, just on that, it'd be interesting to hear your thoughts when how you see that proliferating out. Is it different areas of that same consumer's life? Is it different kind of use cases? Like, is it bathroom as a whole? Is it home? It was just interesting because I guess you've kind of, like you said, you've broken down that door with the hero product, and now actually there's a huge amount of other products that you can take your blueprint that you've created as such and build.
I think it's home as a whole,
Yeah.
but definitely starting with paper products because that's kind of the lane we started on. So introducing alternatives to other paper products that they might have in their homes that already paper towels, wipes,
Yeah.
baby wipes potentially, pocket tissues, napkins, those are those are kind of the type of product to be launching next, and then we'll start looking at other things that might fall outside of the paper category. But, yeah.
Cool. Okay. I can see you can see kind of the huge areas of growth, not in just other categories, but other distribution points, other plays. Do you think your acquisition strategies around that will differ? Will you kind of pull different levers for those different product categories or different distribution points?
I think, I mean, I'm a growth marketer, so
Of course.
I'm very keen on experimenting and seeing what works. Obviously, we know we can pull in customers through our toilet paper product.
Yeah.
So when we introduce new products, the natural next step will be to upsell our existing customers into the new products we introduce. So it might not, I mean, even though we might have all of these different product offerings, they might not all make for good acquisition vehicles. So the
Yeah.
toilet paper obviously is a great story, and like I said, we'll test and experiment and try to figure out the right path. But we know we can pull in new acquisitions with the toilet paper, so we might offer bundle deals or things of that nature where they can kind of buy all of this product at once at the point of purchase.
Cool. Okay. And so if you're looking back over the last year or so, I know you've been building since March of last year. What would you say kind of the key takeaways? I guess you've come from the growth marketer background. What would you say are the key takeaways over the last 12 months of building this brand that you're going to take forward or have learned from that you're going to utilize over the next 2, 3, 4 years as you grow and proliferate out?
I mean, I think in this world we live in right now, brand absolutely matters. Like
Yeah.
it's not like more than any other time. Like the ethos of the brand, what the brand's about. Like people care about that stuff now.
100%.
Like so, you have to you have to live every day like what you say you're about. Otherwise, you're gonna get immediately called out on any kind of bullshit. Greenwashing or anything of that nature. So, I've learned that whatever you say out there, you better be able to do it. Otherwise,
Yeah.
people are definitely going to call you out on it. And just being true to what the brand is, I think I'm glad. Fortunately, I've always been, even though I'm a growth marketer, and it's always easier to forget that there's people behind those conversions, and you can always like, 200 conversions, but those are 200 people, right?
Yeah.
So just trying to remember that and just, try to really care about those people and make sure you're doing everything you can. I mean, it's impossible to make everyone happy, but you can at least try. And
Yeah.
just even if someone, the goal is that even if someone lives real, they can still say something positive about us. So that's always the goal. Even if they're no longer a customer, if someone asks them about Real, they might say, well, I didn't really like the product, but I liked the company. Like that's always the goal. So
Yeah.
I think we want to keep building on that, definitely being very intentional, being very honest, being very transparent with our customers in terms of what we're doing, continuing to, drive sustainability, not just in terms of the products we bring to the marketplace, but in terms of how we make those products as well. So improving, like trying to get to a place where we are about as carbon neutral as we can get in
Yeah.
terms of production and all of that, and just keep leveraging customer feedback to bring cool new product out to the marketplace. So I think we've learned a lot in the last year, and really excited. Obviously we have this crazy, we live in this crazy time with COVID-19, and it's disturbing because there's clearly a recession that's happening right now, and
Of course.
trying to think about how that might impact the business and all those considerations as well. But we think we're obviously we're one of the very few fortunate businesses in terms of the type of product category we're in right now. It's a necessity, and I think as long as we continue to be very customer centric and not forget that there are real people behind those purchases, will continue to do well.
Yeah, I think you've mentioned it a couple of times throughout this podcast, where it's everything leads back to just being extremely customer centric. Like everything through what elements you've said of the brand, through again, just they're real people that you're speaking to here. It's not just numbers on a spreadsheet. And then I think interestingly, like you said, Real are really well positioned for this current chaos, but then you're not trying to profiteer off of it. Like I think
No, we're not. And we actually, when we started seeing the spike, we put out a very bold statement, saying no matter what happens, we're not going to raise the price. Shipping was still going to be free. Obviously, we could have completely taken advantage of the situation and tried to raise our price and just maximize profit. But again, being very customer centric, people centric, it just didn't sit right with us to take that approach. So we kept everything the same, and I think people appreciate that. I mean, I know if I was a customer of a brand that had that approach, I would appreciate it as well. So we always try to look at brands that we love. What are they doing well? How can we incorporate the things we love about what they're doing into how we, kind of communicate, transact with our customers as well. Because we want the relationship to be more than just a transaction. I mean, we really are trying to build a community of people who care about the environment in terms of, the brands they're affiliated with, and also care about, social good and giving back to those that are less fortunate.
Yeah, I mean, you can see that through, I guess, everything you do, from website copy and branding and product to distribution, and like you said, with being or as close to possible, as carbon neutral as possible. So, okay, that's super interesting. So, through, I guess we touched on the general learnings, but like, what have you used or read or seen or kind of learned from in terms of resources or books that others trying to build their own businesses and brands and projects could do the same with?
I mean, two of my favorite books. I mean, I'm a big Tim Ferriss fan. I'm actually
Nice.
to the Monster Tools of Titans right now, which is I'm a big fan of like reading stories from others who've done it. So
I've literally got that book about a meter away from me.
Yeah, that's one of my go-to books. And I also, the podcast or the audiobook I listen to religiously, like whenever, there's like building something is extremely hard, right? Like there's always going to be challenges. There's always going to be just, setbacks or whatever. Ben Horowitz, as a audiobook or book called The Hard Thing About Hard Things,
Yeah.
which is also one of my favorite. And I'm a big, I believe, adversity is the best teacher. So like there's a lot of success stories out there and people tell the stories about how someone made it, but they usually don't talk about the challenges that kind of go into building something, the frustrations, the physical toll and all that. So, I just like reading stories where people actually share the struggles, because it's just a reminder that like whatever's worth building is gonna be challenging, but there's at the end of the day it'll be worthwhile, right? So
Yeah, I think you're seeing that. Like I'm same with you, Darren. Like I think everyone learns a lot more from those true representation or true reflections of what happened, and I think that's happening more and more. I think as it becomes kind of well, most people have the ability to build something now in many ways, like the internet democratizing the ability to start up. I think, yeah, you're seeing more and more of this real world experience rather than a really shiny representation of what happened.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's definitely the barrier to entry. It's a lot easier to start things now, but not everyone has the tenacity or for you to really be able to push through all that, you have to believe in what you're doing.
Yeah.
So I think comes down to that, making sure whatever you're working on really aligns with your beliefs, your values, because that's what's going to give you the strength during the difficult times, for sure.
Of course. So wrapping up, I think we've gone through many elements of Real. I think for our listeners, where is the best place for them to find yourself and Real and to kind of continue the story?
I'm most active on LinkedIn. As much, even though
this is a professional push.
Even though I grew up online, I'm actually not active on social media at all. Like I never post on Instagram. Definitely follow the Real Instagram, which is Real Paper Co. And check me out on LinkedIn. I respond to almost. I'm one of those few people who actually responds to almost all messages on LinkedIn. I know most people hate them, but I've actually met a lot of really, really cool professionals on LinkedIn as well. So yeah.
Awesome. Okay, cool. Well, I really appreciate the time. It was great to go through the story and the origin of Real. And I think, yeah, there's a ton there. So I really appreciate the time. Thank you very much. And I'll catch you soon.
You're very welcome. I just wanted to add one last thing. I mean, obviously Real it's not just about me. It's definitely about the team as well. Definitely wouldn't have made it this far without the amazing, my co-founder, Livio, Hector, my supply chain manager, Michael, my brand manager, and Derin, our customer experience manager. Just really awesome. And we have a very small team, but we've been able to do amazing things in a short period of time. So really, really appreciate those guys.
Awesome. Well, no, I guess customer-centric, team-centric. It's
absolutely. It's about people. At the end of the day, people first, then the product and the process, right? So, yeah.
Nice one. Okay. Well, again, yeah, I love chatting to you, and thanks for going through the story. And
of course.
Yeah, I'll catch you soon.
All right. Take care, Howard.
See you later.
Bye.
Cool. Okay. Well, thank you very much, Darren. It was great to chat. Yeah, super interesting.